Welcome to Bottom Line Sports Talk. I'm George Abraham. You know my partner, Albert Campman. Albert, 39 bowls are wrapping up. By the time we're to air, the championship will be over. In retrospect, looking at these games, let's talk about some things you saw, some things I saw, maybe some reasons for them. Will they continue? Might they change? I mean, the game has turned into everybody cookie cutter spread but the academies.
Yeah, very interesting as we look at these bowls, and George and I watch all of them. We come to some conclusions on the bowls that a lot of you out there probably don't have when you watch. You're just watching the game, rooting for a team or whatever. We do a show that we try to break down the bowls and see a lot of different things that are happening in football and in college football specifically. And George has hit one of them, that when you watch the best coaching being done in the country, when you watched all the bowls that came down once again to Army and Navy, they whooped San Diego State and Virginia.
The Virginia Navy. Now the Navy. Now, honest to God, they ran the opening kickoff back. And my buddy, I'd given him, my old timer, he's in his 90s. And I said, he bets $10. I said, I got one for you.
Navy.
He goes, I put that TV on, they ran the kickoff back. He said, I'm thinking, he doesn't know anything. He goes, what, 40 points later?
Yes.
50 or whatever.
Yeah, it's Navy and Army. And they are the one team that can go out and recruit for what they do. And
Albert, talk about it. We may have some people don't know about wide receivers, blocking, etc.
Yes. Well, Navy and Army run the triple option, and they both run it excellently. They don't run the exact same one, but they depend on one thing for sure, that there are four guys in the backfield. The quarterback's going to take a lot of hits, and the other three guys are going to block for each other. And yes, that does not happen at every school in the country.
You don't think O.J. Simpson did much blocking for
Ever
McKay?
in his life.
And he's not going to start.
Yeah, and that's true for Ohio State.
Yeah.
That's true for Alabama. They get a tailback, they put him in the shotgun sidecar, and he's either carrying the ball or faking like he's carrying the ball, and that's his job. Maybe once every 50 plays, he might lead the quarterback through the hole. Other than that, he's a fake or a carry. At the academy, you are blocking every play. So when you recruit somebody for academy,
let's talk about the academies because there are other things too. You feel the coaching is second to none, no egos and no dumb. There's never a throw down on the out of bounds line. There's never this for 15 yards. Here, sir.
Yeah, when they go to the academy, they are a certain breed that have already been inducted either in the family or the football family or what that team is over high. There is none of that thought process at Army and Navy that we are in this together. You don't have to worry about me being the guy. I have Navy on my shoulders. I have Army on my shoulders. That's all I care about. So when they're recruited, that's what they're looking for. They're not looking for Des Bryant's. Des Bryant would not last 1 second
Johnny
at the academy.
Manziel they wouldn't even send him a letter.
They're great but they would first of all they flunk out, and secondly they're disciplined. They couldn't handle 5:30 of regimentation every day. But thirdly, they want to be interviewed. They want to be the guy scoring the touchdowns and pointing like this.
Yeah,
Manziel's done this forever. What did he do? The money thing. And so the best coaching is being done at the academies. They don't get the best players. But I think maybe both of them won 10. I don't know, 9 or 10. I know both of them were up there.
And the Navy lost some close games. They normally don't lose, so I'm looking for them next year to be back
to win a double figure.
And that league they're in. Central Florida, South Florida, Houston, Memphis.
Oh, it's a great call.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, Munchin, I think it's Munchin, the Army coach. He was the coach of the year. No question about it. He took over a program, and I know they'll say Scott Frost because he was 0-12 a couple years ago. But Scott Frost still has good players.
Yeah, Florida's got about 700 D1s. Yeah. He doesn't need to get them all.
Yeah, so at Central Florida, he had good players. So
yes.
I'll give him credit for turning around
sure.
with regards to emotional and believing in yourself. But at Army, it's hard to go from 2 to a 10 or 11 in a couple of years.
Not to mention they know in 4 years what's out there.
Yes.
They're not going to Aruba.
George hit the last thing I was going to say, and he hit it hard. When you recruit them, the last thing you got to say, by the way.
Yeah, when you're done, you're going to Kosovo.
Yes. By the way, you got 4 more years after this, or 6 years, whatever it is the rule now. I don't know what the rules are.
And I hate to say this is off the sports beat, but that uniform 40 years ago was a chick magnet. Now it's a bullseye.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not the same thing. That's
No,
for sure.
no.
And
Sad.
what it does stand for is a legacy in their family. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of these kids had uncles or grandpas that they grew up with idolizing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, let me see your medals again, Grandpa, Papa.
Mm-hmm.
And so they believe that that's the way to live, and they're the ones that take it to the core for us. And so anything done at the academies, I have written down the best, especially when it comes to winning football games with players that are going to serve
I
our
had
country.
a couple that went to West Point, and they were special kids. I mean, they were.
Yeah, you knew they had a chance.
They were nothing. They were a cut above.
Yeah.
It's that simple. I'm being honest.
Yeah, because George and I both have coached all from me people to team people,
yeah.
and there's no me person going to the academies.
No.
They aren't going to make it. George, if they're
They'll
not-
rock that ego right out of them. When they're sitting in the back of the row and they see them front to back by how well they did in the last test, it'll sink in.
Yes, I'm back here in this back row
Yeah.
again.
Hey, recruiting over the big boys. Now we're going to talk Saban, Kirby, Smart, Jumbo,
That's all
Jimbo. You better get the players, Albert. I'll give you an example. The other day they did this little special. Alabama and Georgia guys. You know, they're all clowning and they're having
Right.
fun. They're going, who's the best looking guy? And they all go, I am. You know, they're laughing. They go, who's the fastest guy? Guy goes, Robert Foster. He can barely get on the field at Alabama. He was the #1 player in Pennsylvania 5 years ago.
Yeah, you're going to see him in the pros, and he can't get on the field very often. I watched an interview. They said, who's going to be the difference maker in this game, Georgia-Auburn game, and Georgia-Alabama game? And I couldn't believe two of the guys that now said, Robert Foster. He hardly ever plays. That's the ability he has. But recruiting is the name of the game. And once again, looking at it from an angle outside of the score of Alabama-Georgia, you'll see tonight that they very seldom take the ball under center. Georgia takes a little more. Alabama's in the shotgun most of their snaps. Everybody plays the same way. So if everybody's playing the same way, like they do in college basketball, everybody uses dribble drive, then it comes down to there's no scheming, George.
Better get the best players.
Yeah. You don't out-scheme it. Pete Carril would out-scheme people at Princeton. He'd say, okay, I'm going to play this game to 35,
Now they put the
30.
shot clock in. Now they cut it down to 30 seconds, and you're stuck.
Nebraska, when Tom Osborne was there, out-scheme.
Yep,
They not only get great players, but he out-schemed people by running the ball and running all kind of down options and options. Today, recruiting is everything, guys. You better pay attention who has the best players because everybody runs the same thing. And then secondly, once you recruit them, this was Saban does better than anybody, he then gets them better while they're there.
You have to coach them up.
Yeah, so you recruit them, then you get them better, and
That's why I'm critical of Notre Dame.
That's where they're going to get better.
That's why I'm all over Notre Dame. I think they have too many 4 and 5 stars. Now this year they have fine season, but last year
Not
4
consistent. They're not consistent enough, right?
No.
I understand that.
And you made a good point about playing the same. They can't even take the dang snap to run the victory formation.
You ever watch that, guys? I'm nervous every time if I have a team winning, and I see the snap being going through the air 4 feet to try to kill the clock.
Then he walks back 3 steps. Then the next thing you know, you're laying Kiff, and it started to 45, and you take a safety.
Yes. So every team does it, and defensively, because of the spread, every team is now recruiting 6 big people to play inside, and the rest of the team is recruited with speed all over the field because the game is played from sideline to sideline, up vertical, horizontal.
Yes.
Everybody's in a 4-3.
Good
If
point.
you're not in a 4-2-5 or a 4-3, everybody's running the
Now
same
let's talk
defense.
about the most important position on the field, and here's where they make the mistake. LSU, Florida,
right down the line.
Michigan, right down the line. If you're not 6'4", they don't want you. But what they don't know, a guy like McSorley, a guy like Milton can beat you with his legs or his arm.
Yeah, neither one of them recruited at all. McSorley as a safety, Milton because he was 5'10", nobody wanted. And if you watch Central Florida and Penn State play,
Two best teams.
you're thinking they got the quarterback and run it at any time, and throw it at any time, and neither one of them have a chance of playing pro because
McSorley was 12 for 12 on third down. The poor Washington, they did okay till third down.
They did. Arms and legs, guys. George and I watch a game. We'll know 2 minutes in, wow, this quarterback's really good. He just ran for a first down on 3rd and 12, and then he just threw for a first down on 3rd and 15. We see guys who can run it and throw the ball into the
And
stands.
think about who beat Saban.
Yes.
Watson, Johnny
Guys can do that.
Manziel, Young Kelly.
Guys who can do that.
Excuse me.
Yes. Guys who can run and pass the football.
Yeah, you can't beat them either or. Either or, not going to get them because they're going to stack it.
So let us, hire us. We'll find you a quarterback that might be 2 inches too short that'll put you in a national championship game.
Like Doug Flutie.
There's a million of them. We go right down the line. There's a million of them don't get a chance.
Well, Wentz at North Dakota State. He should have been at North Dakota State.
No, how could he be there? Because
he's the best player in the league.
I have no idea why. Donald, I just saw Donald play. Donald went to Pitt because he wasn't tall enough. And now he's the best player. They said he's like 6 foot. I said, I don't care how 6 foot.
How about the dude from Buffalo that plays for Oakland Raiders?
Mac.
We were on him.
Yes.
Then that first game of the year, they play Ohio State.
They saw something in
Ohio State pulverized them, but not him.
They didn't like Mac for some reason.
I don't know
have no
why.
idea what they missed. But please stop looking at the measurements.
Yeah.
He has to run 6'5".
Yeah, yeah.
How about that one?
Stupid. How big are his hands? Stupid.
Yeah. Can he play? Put the film on. Can he play? That's all we care about.
You know what? You nailed it perfect. Now, here's the other thing. Saban and Urban Meyer, once again, they get them, but they coach them up, and they realize they put their studs on defense.
Yeah, they're ahead of the game. They have come to the realization that that when you watch a football game in high school, every kid wants to play receiver. There's not a kid that wants to play defensive back because they're not going to be the guy. But at Alabama, Ohio State, they'll say, listen, look at this listing of our defensive backs. First round, first round, first round, first round, first round. Seriously, coach, you've had that many first round defensive guys drafted? Yes. So you want to get big money? Come play defense for us. They're the teams that have it. Georgia's heading that way now.
Revis.
Oh, Revis is a perfect example. Yes.
I was doing a basketball game on TV, and he says to me, who was the best player? Named Revis. You can see that athletic ability coming through in basketball. So he gets 2 ridiculous contracts where he makes more money than the daggone state lottery.
Yes, and so that he's one of the proof guys that decided that I can make money on defense. For you people out there who have a
Whitehead at Pitt.
Oh yeah,
he could be. You think he could be a running back somewhere?
Yeah, he could be the starting right, for no question about it. They talked him into it, but Alabama does it the best of anybody. They take their best athletes and say, okay, you are going to play defense. That's where you're going to play for us, and that's why they always continually are playing in that national championship game. Tonight, when you see them against Georgia, their best players will be on the defensive side of the ball.
Good point. Good point. Hey, Mark Rick, you were really disappointed in his roughing up an official.
Don't understand that because he's known as such a great man. And it's got to carry over onto the field. You can lose your temper. I don't mind. Anybody can lose their temper. You just have to control yourself before you touch the official.
I called him last night. The Iowa coach is like that. Every time now I may only see 6 or 7 games. Mm-hmm. Every time I see a game, he's being held back or pushed back or the other team's shooting a technical.
Yeah, it makes no sense that it's Fran McCafferty from Iowa in basketball. But Mark Rick, you're allowed to get mad. McCafferty, you're allowed to get mad.
Yeah.
But once again, if you do it 30 times in a row the same way, because I was an anti guy as a coach myself, but I wasn't angry. That was my nerves. So they just laughed at me off. When you get angry, things change. Yeah. And all of a sudden, you are touching the referee. You are in major trouble, no question about it.
And you shouldn't be in your bad example.
Yes.
I don't like it. Most overrated, we both concur. Harbaugh by a mile. Other than get them in the news for going to meet the Pope or going to IMG.
Yes.
What has he done?
Really, he's done zero, and I don't see him getting any better unless he goes out and lands players that I haven't seen yet. He's not in the top 5 every year recruiting classes.
You know, you don't see a Desmond Howard. Now that you say it, even though the quarterbacks have been awful,
right.
You don't see that kick returner like Peppers.
Right.
We go, ooh, wait a minute.
Yes, and he didn't recruit him.
No.
So he's landed 3 classes now, and I've yet to see a guy that they say this guy takes the top off. This guy is the player of all players, and if you don't get those players, you're not beating Ohio State and Michigan State. And he doesn't beat them.
Wisconsin, there's the one.
But
Wisconsin.
He's not getting called on it.
Hey, Wisconsin.
Like your man, you call him Freddie Flintstone. You called him out on it.
Yeah, I called him out.
And he called him out all the time because he couldn't beat the best team. Well, this guy does not get called out. I don't mind if just call them all out.
Yeah, that's what I said the other day about the young guy at the Rams, the pretty boy. Oh, he's all. I said, fine. Then he gets it for Saturday. Yes. Or he doesn't get all the credit.
Right.
Because he was there Saturday on that sideline too when they pooped their pants.
Yeah, no question about it. So you get the blame and you get the success. And the guy that has not lived up to the testimony of himself, because he likes to talk about himself, is Harbaugh from Michigan.
And the antithesis is the guy right down the road in East Lansing, Mark D'Antonio.
Yeah, how about him? He just continues, he slides through and whoops Michigan, sometimes whoops Ohio State, plays in a bowl game, whoops somebody in a bowl game, and no one talks about Michigan State. They're in the same name, Michigan State, one most overrated, one most underrated. I'd be living with him if I was people should have been recruiting him to be their coach. Of all the guys that gets it, power football, can throw it, always has a decent quarterback, has great defensive backs. He gets it all. He gets it.
He seems to start with his defensive backs. It's what the guys at Pitt that tried to emulate him haven't been able to do.
Good point. That was a great point George
Right?
made. Yeah, when Narduzzi went there from Michigan State, he was going to took the same defense, and he forgot to bring one thing with him: the defensive backs. No question about it.
Good point. Good point. Exactly. And we argued about this when it came out, and I said, Albert, the big thing's getting it right. He said, well, they don't. And I said, daggone it. Yeah, it is getting it right, and guess what? They don't.
Seems like they don't, George. At least
How about yesterday, NFL? It was actually a comedy of errors.
I mean, I watched the interception in the Jacksonville game. It was the exact ball movement that I've seen 30 other places.
That you had to slow down, though. First of all,
they have to do it that
90
way.
times slower than the human eye
Yes.
to even see.
Right. So I am way on the offside. I'm the dinosaur of all dinosaurs. George thinks it through a lot better than me. I don't want a replay. I want the 3 plays that hold the game up for 10 minutes each, that they don't get right anyway. That I just want to play the game. And there might be 3 plays that decide the game, and you can talk about for the next 25 years. But George, I'm tired of watching 10 minutes of going through it, and then you'll call me and say,
Well, we got this one. This is a touchdown.
after further review,
Yeah, bobble.
after further review, George, he'll call me, oh, that ball moved, so it's going to be incomplete.
Yeah.
After further, the play stands, touchdown.
Touchdown.
So they don't get what we see anyway.
No.
It happens in the booth every week. They have a guy, one of those.
He'll go, yeah. Orville Redenbacher, Herrera.
In the booth, they'll say,
and he's killing the refs. I wrote him a thing once. I said, you didn't kill him when you worked there.
Yeah.
Boy, you're killing him now.
Mike somebody. Say,
Mike Pereira.
I said, Mike, what do you see here? He's all, there's no doubt about this one.
No doubt about this.
It's a catch. He's a referee.
I know.
The first thing he says.
I know.
Yes.
Here's the one we have, and we have a sidecar to this one. 4th and 1, Oklahoma Heisman Trophy winner. How about 9 plays in overtime? You ran 8.
Yes.
How'd you get there, Baker?
I'm trying to figure out that once again, Riley, the coach at Oklahoma, got all the credit. As a young whippersnapper, Oklahoma should be playing tonight. I have no idea. The Oklahoma team held Georgia to 3 points. I remember watching Chubb and Mike McHale, how you say it, on the sideline.
Michelle, yeah.
Like this, knowing
Knowing.
they didn't score a touchdown.
Because they're going to score again.
Yes, and they're going to lose, and they're going to lose.
It's like when I watch Slippery Rock State football. I'll be doing a game in the booth. It's 14 to something. They go to kick a field goal, and I go, can't kick field goals because it's going to be 21 in a minute.
In a second. So now it's 4th and 1. You've went for it all year. You have the quarterback who's the Heisman champ,
Best player in the country.
best player in the country.
Yeah.
All you have to do is say to him, listen,
Yeah.
what's the best play we have that
Yeah.
you score?
Yeah, you could pass around option or
give
whatever.
it to you.
Yeah.
You just one dog.
You take care of it, Baker.
They kicked the field goal, and right then the sale.
Well, wait, they trumped it. They kicked with 40 seconds left, line drive. The guy fell on in the 50, and then they got a field goal.
Yeah, and if you look at the stats of that, Oklahoma has not given a touchdown in 7 years on a kickoff. Georgia has not scored on a kickoff in 7 years. It ain't like both teams were really bad on one and good the other. It would just kick it, tackle them, the game, it's over.
And the other thing, 8 out of 9 runs in overtime.
Yes. Why? Makes no sense at all.
He blew it. He's done,
Yes.
too. Coaches and modes, my pet peeve. I could just get down the list, could start with Foge Fazio, and I could name them till my hands are weak. The bottom line is these battlefield promotions where they play one good game for an assistant, and the kids run in and, we want Uncle Lou.
Yes.
And this guy at LSU is nothing
Oregon's
but
an example.
he's a cheerleader. Now they're talking about firing their OC, getting a new DC. They can do all that they want. They're losing 3 games a year. Now, by the way, the reason we're hard on them, how many guys in the NFL? 57.
Yeah.
57.
LSU has more in the pros than anybody. But what we're talking about is that last game usually is a rivalry game. So let's say the coach gets fired, I get fired, George takes over for the Mississippi State game. You don't need a coach for that game. They're playing with their hair on fire. They win that game, and after the game, they're saying, hire Eddie, hire this. And they do. They hire the assistant coach. and they find out that
He's
it's
an
11
assistant.
game schedule next year.
He's an assistant.
You got to be ready. He's a great assistant, but he's not a good
And
head
that's
coach.
a common trait. We could
is.
go through the
Lots
whether
of them.
whether
Lots of
Dick LeBeau
Right down the line.
on down.
Yes.
Now here's the other thing: using the spread, 4th and 1. You got issues.
Yeah, and they haven't figured that out either. There's all these smart coaches who are in the spread, and I understand they score 35 points, but when it's 4th and 1 at the 2-yard line, and you have to line up and spread, you are in trouble. The back of the end zone shortens up, so they get right up on the receivers. There's no room to throw it, and you have to hand the ball 7 feet back in the backfield. Please, somebody convince them that
You could have a little package.
Yeah, that you have a guy under center that can run or pass or whatever. And you can quarterback sneak. You can give the ball off. You can play action pass.
How about when Passate stops at the Barkley and he fakes to McSorley?
Yeah, he takes the ball.
Good
The
luck
fullback
on
takes
that.
the ball.
Good
Yes.
luck on that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Stats mean nothing. Barrett's proof. Barrett is a Ohio State legend. Urban Meyer said he is welcome here. He has a place here at any time. It's a family, and he's the guy.
Yeah, one of the things that bothers me was that on the TV show they'll say the all-time leading passer at Northwestern, the all-time leading passer at UTEP. They're all going to be all-times. They run 90 plays a game today. In the old days, they used to run 35.
What Bradshaw throws 17 times a game?
Yes, the game has changed.
And now
so
Ben
much.
throws 60.
So you're trying to tell me that
we don't wanna
JT
hear that.
Barrett is better than Art Schlichter. He's not. It's just the next time of the game, that's the way the game was played. You took your time, come out of the huddle, you snapped the ball with 3 seconds left on the clock. Now they snap it 8 seconds after the ball's laid down. JT Barrett is that problem. Because I'll tell you what, we have Buckeye Bob calls all the time. There's a lot of Ohio State fans right now saying they're happy he's leaving.
Because he can throw the
Think
ball.
of that.
He can
Yes,
throw the ball.
yes.
And he won 1,000,000 games. The other thing, Frost going and taking the whole staff. Will the quarterback fall because he would have to sit a year?
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing. That this is the first time I ever heard a whole staff going from one school to another.
Mm-hmm.
That's how much Frost is well liked by his staff. He's taking the whole staff.
And I got to
Central
figure
Florida-
there's some money in
Central Florida, Nebraska, big pay raises, big pay raises.
Big Ten, they get the TV, $35 million from the TV.
Yeah, but the quarterback is the key, not coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
If they can take Milton with them from Central Florida, a year from now you'll see Nebraska really good again. If not, he's got to go and find another.
And
Milton.
Nebraska this year, I mean, they're losing to Rutgers and Purdue.
Yes.
Just-
No, Nebraska fans can't handle that.
No, they
won't handle that,
can't.
no question.
Big Ten, SEC, top teams in the bowl. The only problem is, you know how when they say so-and-so beat so-and-so, I'm all in. But remember, with 2 of the SECs being in the Final Four, now SEC 3 is really, SEC 1 is SEC 3 if you tier them.
Yeah, so what George was talking about, Big Ten went 7-1, and SEC went maybe 4-4. I don't know exactly what their record was, but they don't count that Georgia and Alabama are in the championship game. So if you tiered them, it'd really be Alabama versus Ohio State, Georgia versus Michigan State, and there's a good chance that Alabama and Georgia both win those games, and all of a sudden the record changes.
Exactly.
So they're put in the bowl championship.
Yeah,
It's really not
you
tiered
have to
equally.
watch how
it's
you-
not tiered equally. No.
Yeah, exactly. Now, you talk about the bowls. Can they help or hurt? Do they matter? You know, measuring them with their underwear is the vogue, and that just drives me crazy. But this Allen at Wyoming came into that bowl game against Central Michigan. Albert, I'm going to tell you what he did. I watched it. It was a Friday afternoon. He threw about 3 darts in that game.
He did.
Like this, but that most guys can't throw.
Only a pro.
And I think they saw it.
Yeah, and he can run. So he's big, fast, and run. He looks like Wentz. And after seeing what Wentz did at North Dakota State, there'll be a lot of people making decisions on his first draft day. Do we take Darnold? Do we take Rosen? And somebody in that back room saying he's not the best one. Those 2 aren't the best. Allen's the best after watching Wentz. So this is going to be an interesting draft. I think Darnold went down a little bit in people's eyes, and I think Allen went up a little bit.
Let's talk about, is there anybody, you and I always find that sleeper, you know, and I thought the kid at NC State might fit that bill.
He does. He does. I think he's a big enough guy that can play in the pros. He can take the hit. Has a strong arm. Can throw the ball down the field and throw the quick out. He is a guy definitely in the top 10 in.
Is there anyone else you saw that they may have missed? I thought he was definitely one.
I have to watch a lot more games to say that, George.
Okay.
I didn't come in thinking about anybody right now. I'd say right now, nobody on the top of my mind.
And you know yourself that if there's anyone else, they'll find them. between the
yeah.
combines and all the, they'll find them.
Oh yeah, they don't miss anybody.
Private
out.
work days, and then there's some guy, they're going for the quarterback, and they get a look at a wide, the guy catching him for him, they go, oh.
He can play too.
Yeah, that's
no
so
play.
they're not going to miss him.
Yes.
Playing or sitting out is a big thing. You're old school in that. Our buddy Denny just drives him crazy. It started out as just in the lousy bowls. Oh, it's not worth it. He's a little dinged. Now it's turned out he's not a little dinged. It's not just a lousy bowl. I don't want to get hurt. Screw my teammates.
Yeah, and you know what? I've come the other way enough that I can understand a guy now saying that my mom does not. We've lived in a shack our whole life. I don't want to give that away. Even though you say there's insurance out there for most of
They
them.
have insurance, but not the kind of money
Right.
they're going to
So I do
make.
understand it, but I don't understand, and I never will, with a guy deciding not to play and coming to the game and getting into the huddle and trying
Talk
to
about Oregon let that runner.
Freeman.
Freeman was in
It
the
was the biggest
huddle.
joke I ever saw.
And Boise was just dressing them up.
And I thought that had something to do with it, that Oregon had no idea about playing in that football game. They had a coach that we talked about that was moved up, because of the assistant coach thing. And plus Freeman, who said, I'm not going to play in the bowl. He's leading the cheers in the huddle. And they're looking at him. The other seniors are thinking, what are you doing here? You're not even playing.
You should be out here
Get
with
outta
us
here.
getting
Yeah,
our
got it.
brains
Yes.
beat in. I saw Keekly yesterday give a guy a look on a pass play that you could tell he was like,
Upset.
you should have had
Yeah,
him. That
upset.
was your guy, whatever. Let's talk about some of the good guys. You look, you're not sure. You may miss them, you might not. How good they were. The one guy that fits that bill. We knew Deshaun Watson was good.
I had no idea.
But we didn't know he was that good. Neither did the coach because he didn't start him opening game.
Yeah, and I'm talking about. I am seeing him now watching Clemson play, and it looked like they couldn't get a first down playing for 10 years against Alabama. And Alabama's defense was better the year before. Watson went through them like they weren't there. That's how good a player he was. He made the Alabama defense look like mincemeat. And Bryant, who you like, could not play against that Alabama defense.
I have to say, two guys I was higher on, Bryant and the quarterback from Louisville, when they made him throw the ball. Oh, my God.
They looked a little more normal.
Oh.
Looked a little more normal.
They look like the guy who's at Denver, the tall guy, the quarterback
Yes,
that
I
was
know.
at Memphis State, and I knew he couldn't play. And they're trying to force him in, and he's not going to make it.
Yeah, Lynch.
Paxton Lynch, he's not
You're
gonna
looking at
make
these players and Jordan when they trap you and say, let's see you throw that ball against talent.
Yeah.
Not-
We're not going to let you run out of here. You throw it.
Let's see what you can do. And Deshaun Watson can do it. And
Yep.
now we know
Yeah.
why he's so good with that.
And one more takeaway. We got about a minute and a half left. One more takeaway of these bowls. Penn State has to be kicking themselves in the rear end. They had 2 one-possession losses, and I know right now they're looking and thinking that could be us out there.
Yeah, of all the teams, there's always that one team. Now, who's that 5th team? They're thinking, who could have played in these bowls and really did well is Penn State. I saw Ohio State's offense, so I know they could not score against Alabama and Georgia. So the defense, Ohio State's defense was good.
Oh, yeah.
But they're not good enough offense.
Oh, yeah.
Penn State was good enough on both sides to play any of these teams, no question. They are kicking themselves right
And
now.
that's, once again, we talk about don't ever underestimate 12 straight games. I know people say, oh, they're scheduled it, but there's something about that. One day you're off,
Yes.
your season's over.
You never get it back. And that happens all around the country except for Central Florida. So that's why people are talking about Central Florida. They made it through it.
Hey, you heard it here on Bottom Line Sports Talk. We'll see you next week.